Hello, good morning everyone. Today we are going to review the new NinjaTrader 8 version release candidate number 2. We are going to compare with the last version of NinjaTrader 7, version number 31. Let's see first the main differences on the control center of both versions. This is the control center of Ninja 8 and this is for Ninja 7. Both are connected to the replay account. One of the differences is that on Ninja 7 we have replay and on Ninja 8 it is now called playback. As an advantage, we don't need to download replay data because we can use historical data to execute a replay. Everything that we have downloaded to create a chart is available also to execute a replay. The main difference on the visual side, as we can see, we have fixed tabs on Ninja 7. We cannot change them. On Ninja 8 we have something similar. On the control center we can add or even we can move the place of each tab. We can close any of the tabs if we don't need it, and we can also add a separate window where we can place only the tabs that we use. For example, if we are interested in the orders and on the positions, we don't need the control center anymore because we can have a special window only for that. We don't have the account performance where we can execute the performance of our trades on any time interval, because now it is a report that we can get on a separate window. We have a lot of new reports. We can see this on a separate video. Some of the features that we may miss is the button to make the window smaller. This option is no longer present. We can only minimize the window. Something that also is not present is all windows on Ninja 7 were able to be controlled by mouse and also by the keyboard. We can use the keyboard menu and move the windows with the keyboard. And we also, on Windows 10, we have the option to approach the window to an edge of the window and make it expand. Now on Ninja 8 it is not using standard windows, so it doesn't detect approaching to the edges of the monitor. We don't have also access to the keyboard menu, so the only option to move a window is using the mouse. When we look at the windows, the account where, or the accounts that we are connected to, were visible at the bottom of the control center. On Ninja 8 we only get a green dot, and if we place the mouse over, we can see a detail of all the accounts. Let's see the difference between both versions when looking at charts. Both are crude oil futures charts. Visually, both are the same. We have a little more space on version 8, but on Ninja 7 we had the option to hide the second row or the toolbar with the option show toolbar. So with that option, Ninja 7 had more space. On Ninja 8 we cannot hide this menu, and we get less space on the toolbar for third-party vendors buttons. So the most usual way to add buttons will be inside of the chart for third-party indicators. Another difference is when we zoom on the horizontal axis, the movement on Ninja 8 is smoother, and we have more precision to specify the start bar for the chart. On Ninja 7 the movements are in bigger steps, so if we want to start on this pivot, there's no way to expand the chart because the steps are too big. Instead of that, on Ninja 8 we can specify the exact bar where we want to start. Visually this is a great advantage. Another difference, we can move the charts on vertical and horizontal movements. Pressing the control button we can move the vertical axis. On Ninja 7 it was possible, but clicking over the vertical axis. On Ninja 8 we can click on any part of the chart. Clicking on the F button we can set the scale to automatic again. The vertical axis can be zoomed out or in, same on both versions. On Ninja 7 we were not able to place a strategy and use chart trader at the same time. The chart trader is still available on both versions. On Ninja 7 we clicked on this button to disable chart trader, and this other button is to hide or show the chart trader. We have one button to enable and another button to show or hide. On Ninja 8 instead we have only one button with the three options: disabled, shown or hidden. It is the same, but on both we can do the same. The limitation, I was talking before, that having chart trader as we have now the strategies are disabled on Ninja 7. We cannot add a strategy if we are using ChartTrader. That is not longer a limitation on Ninja 8, because now we can add a strategy with ChartTrader enabled, so we can see the orders, and if the strategy allows, we can also move the orders. For those who use the ChartTrader with ATMs, on Ninja 7 we have 3 different positions, each position with its own trade size, stop loss, profit target, and stop management, and each stop management with its own auto break even and trailing stop. The trailing stop could be up to 3 different steps. On Ninja 8 we have now one target as default, but we can add unlimited number of positions. So we can add so much as we need, and again each position has its own trade size, stop loss, and profit, and also the stop management, where we can control the auto break even and the trailing stop. The trailing stop is also with a maximum of 3 steps, same as on Ninja 7. Let's review now some of the new features of Ninja 8. When we want to use ChartTrader to place an order, if we place an order below the market, we have the option of placing a buy limit. On Ninja 7 we had only 3 options. Below the market we were able to buy with a limit order or sell with a stop order or stop limit. So for the long side we had only one option with a limit order. On Ninja 8 we have the limit order and also this new type of orders, MIT, market if touched, which works almost the same that a limit order, but when the entry price is touched by the market, NinjaTrader enters at market. Pending. So we may get a fill one tick or low, one tick more or less from the current price. Limit orders can be touched but not filled. Instead, these new type of orders are always cancelled, get filled if they are touched. Any order that we have on ChartTrader now, an entry order or a stop order or a target, any order, can now be attached to an indicator. Let's add, for example, an EMA of 50. So if we want to update the order at the price of that line, we can right click the order and attach to the indicator. On this example we have only one indicator on the chart, but if we have more than one we get a list with all the possible indicators. and we can specify an offset, so we can place the entry price 2 ticks over 99 or 2 ticks below 95 from the line. And we can also specify if only moving towards the price. If we leave this unticked and unmarked, if the blue line keeps starts going down, the order also goes down. This is very useful for a trailing stop. Let's say that, for example, we get a fill on this order.
Order filled.
So now we have a long position with 2 targets and a trailing stop, a fixed stop. We can move each one of the orders and attach each one to the moving average and only approaching to the line. On the second order we can do the same, but with a 2 tick offset negative, so it is below. So now the pause stops will track the blue line only approaching to the price. If at some time the blue line starts going down, the stop order will remain. Another option that we have now is that if, for example, on our chart we have 2 data series on the same chart, let's say that we add a DAX data series with a 150 tick chart. This is possible on Ninja 7, but we were only able to trade the first panel, the first data series. Now instead we can select on Chart Trader the instrument where we want to manage the order.
Order pending.
So we select which are the orders that we are watching. We only see the orders of the instrument that we select on Chart Trader, but we can place orders on both. Let's remove the second data series. Another option if we want to the properties of the chart, we can see that we can show the range of the chart with all data loaded. We can also show the scroll bar at the bottom. And we can also show tabs. This is new on Ninja 8. Now one window can have multiple tabs, so we can add another instrument. So now on one window we can have several instruments charted, instead, in fact, not only several instruments, but same instrument with different time frames. This is like having lot of charts into one window. Clicking on the P&L, we can switch from price. Currently we are looking this at price, now on ticks. If we click again, we can see the P&L in dollars or in percentage of the trade account. We can cycle all the options by clicking on the P&L. Another difference, very important with Ninja 7, is that now the chart has the option of tick replay. With tick replay, each bar is calculated tick by tick, not at bar close. If we have an indicator that calculates on intrabar, when we get historical results, we may get wrong results. Now with this option we can make those indicators to work properly. For those who like to use the DOM has a lot of new features. For example, we can add indicators, and also we can change the number of rows by just moving the size of the window. If you remember, on Ninja 7 the DOM could not, the size was fixed. The only way to change the length of the DOM was changing the properties. Now it has 10 rows, but we cannot change it. On Ninja 8 instead, we can adjust the size and also the width. We can also add indicators. For example, let's say that we want to add an exponential moving average. We have the indicators option. Let's add an EMA of 50, and we need to specify a time frame because the DOM has no time frame. So to be on the same conditions than the chart on the right, it is a 150 ticks, so we need to specify the same time frame. It is in color blue, and now we can see in color blue we have the result of the exponential moving average. All the indicators can be plotted over the DOM, and
Order
also
pending.
we can attach an order to that indicator. The process
Order
is the same
cancelled.
as we saw before.
Order pending.
For example, let's say this cell limit we want to attach, we only right click and click on attach to
Order filled.
indicator. I got an instant fill because the price was touching the line. On this chart we cannot see the position because chart trader is in off. Now we can see the position. On the drawing aspect, on Ninja 7 we were able to draw a lot of markers. Same happens on Ninja 8, but with a lot of more flexibility. All the objects that we draw are easier to find on the chart if we need them later. Something that we can see is that, for example, this arrow, the red arrow on Ninja 7 is fixed. The size doesn't change with the scale. On Ninja 8 instead, the size of the arrow is relative to the size of the bar. To find an object drawn on Ninja 7 it was very difficult. We were able to double click, but on Ninja 8 if we double click an object we get a list of all objects on that chart. We can change the properties, the color, the size, we can make them visible or not. and also we can make them global or not. For example, if we have another chart of the same instrument, and let's say that we want to make this arrow or these lines to be visible on all other charts, we can double click on the object, and where it says attach to, we can select to all charts. This option was also present on Ninja 7, but now the object management is much easier on Ninja 8. We can also move on the other chart. The objects that are global can be moved on the source or even on the other charts, and it is updated on all charts at the same time. This is very useful when we draw support and resistance zones. If we use a rectangle and make it global, then we get the support and resistance levels on all our charts. We have also the option to link the charts. We can link by interval or by instrument. On Ninja 7 was only possible to link by instrument. If we link these two charts by, I will remove the Ninja 7 chart. If we link these two charts by instrument, let's say that I want to change one instrument on one chart, I want the other chart to change too. So we select the same color on the instrument link button, so any instrument that I change on any chart will refresh on the other chart. Both charts will update the instrument. If instead of that we want to link by time frame, as soon as I link this chart, we get the same time frame on both charts. So any change on time frame is reflected on all the linked charts. This is new on Ninja 8. Let's see now the advances on the replay, now called playback. When we connect to the playback, we have the two options, using market replay or historical data. Market replay uses one file per each day and instrument. Historical uses the historical data already loaded on Ninja. If we created a chart, then we already have that historical data. When we click on go to, we can see which are the days available, because they are shown in bold font. And now when we move the playback to a specific date, we can see that it paints all bars one by one, because it is doing a tick replay. Now we are ready to execute a replay of October 12th from 10 a.m. For DAX and crude oil, it is working both at the same time. If you want to know which are the data that we have available, this is the same as on NinjaTrader 7. We right click, click on show available data, but now we have two different options on the window. We get the historical and market replay. On this example, I don't have nothing of market replay, I only have the historical data. All these instruments provide from the migration of Ninja 7, so everything that was charted sometime on Ninja 7 was migrated, and now it is available to execute a market replay on Ninja 8. The data is composed by minute charts and tick charts. On this example is only tick chart. On crude oil from November we have minute and tick, and we can open the data by months, day and even per hour. If we have something missing, one instrument or one day, we can just open a chart of that interval or use this option to download a date range, so we can load a full range of data. This is a very good improvement against NinjaTrader 7. As I commented also, is that now on Ninja 8 the data can be calculated tick by tick. For example, if we use one of those indicators using BDASK data, for example the buy-sell pressure, these indicators produce this effect that only show data from the current bar. If we refresh, everything is deleted and we get results from the current bar. But if we make this chart for this data series to use tick replay, then all historical bars will use tick data to calculate the results. So now we can get historical result of all those indicators that were not producing results, even using market replay on historical data. This has been the first review of NinjaTrader 8. Hope this has been useful for you, and if you have any question, please post below this video. Thank you everyone, bye bye.